we've got to teach our brain to slow things down and not be on high alert all the time because it's irrelevant. And it will keep us from connecting to our heart. It will keep us from connecting to our intuition. And it most definitely will keep us from connecting with our soul.
Welcome to We Be the Change. I'm Colleen Akiko. This episode is part 2 of a very special interview with Tessa Alburn in the series Coming Home to Soul. This nourishing conversation opens the way for safely working through our emotions into an uplifted perspective. You'll hear how grief can open the gateway to wisdom and how the brain's fear programming can be gently rewired. If you're longing for a deeper sense of belonging, I invite you to listen with your heart for practical insight, encouragement, and soul-level truth in this episode called From Survival to Sovereignty. Visit and bookmark songrise.live, that's SONGRISE.LIVE, for fresh resources, supportive bonus content, and the free e-guide, Out of Your Mind, Into Your Light. That's songrise.live. I'll see you there.
I'd love to address a few things that I think would support people coming in to greater connection with their soul.
Yeah.
One of the first things we need is we need to know that we're safe. Because if we're not, and whether that's environmentally, emotionally, or mentally, or some other way, certainly physically, if we don't know we're safe in the moment, that we're not in immediate danger, it's really, really challenging to go any deeper and feel and rest into the place of the soul, to meet her. The soul energy can be felt as a sensation. It can be heard. It can be known. So some people will feel it like through their senses, like, oh, that's what I feel like when I'm connecting with my soul. But we don't know what that way is going to be until we've experienced it.
It could be audible. I myself, I
Yes.
hear some sparkling.
Yes. In order to, so safety is first, like actually slowing things down enough to go, oh, I am safe. So now I'm going to deepen. I think for a lot of people, connecting with nature can really help one to be in a place of feeling safe and also connecting with intelligence outside of the ego, right? Being in the spirit of the forests or the sea or the ocean or the magic of watching a school of tens of thousands of fish, go by and create incredible shapes and light. And one of the pivotal experiences for me as I was on my healing journey, I was still in a very delicate place where I was suffering with depression, on and off depression, and that had started at a very early age. But I was in my mid-20s to mid-30s, in that range. And at one point, I had become a scuba instructor. And I found that once I was stepped outside of the paradigm of the scuba instruction and having to be concerned about the risk and all the stuff with people and making sure everybody in my classes and on boats were safe, then I gave myself the luxury of just going into the water myself and doing solo dives. At first, what would happen was my deep grief would arise. I would just be down there swimming around looking for something cool, and then as I paused and I really became present to nature, my feelings would come up. And this is an arena that many people don't want to experience. But the problem is, if we can't be with our feelings, we can't access the soul. Pushing away the feelings is going to push away the wisdom of something greater that's beyond the feelings. And so for me, I went through like grief process. I remember one specific time I was underwater and I'm sobbing through my scuba gear, and I'm like, I guess I'm okay. I can still breathe, just keeping my mouthpiece in my mouth and continuing to just cry and cry and cry. And then my breathing regulated and I was done with my cry, and just the loss in my life and the feelings of isolation and aloneness and the too much moving and everything going fast, and I needed to slow things down for me to be able to digest and receive, because I was a very sensitive being. And after the tears, I was just, oh, thank you. I was so grateful for it having moved through me. And I continued my dive, and I was just floating, hovering. And I thought, I'm just going to stay here. Maybe something will happen. And I was in about 60 feet of water, about 10 feet up, 10 to 15 feet up off the bottom. And I was floating, and I thought, I'll go up a little bit more. And so I was looking down on the reef, and just suddenly the beautiful light came in through the kelp forest, and some bat rays came by down on the bottom, and the kelp was swaying like this, and the light beams were coming through, and it was like heaven, one of those heavenly sunrises. And the fish, suddenly there was this little symphony of fish happening over here, and a school came in over here, and then above there were bait fish, like really shimmery and shiny, and there were orange fish, some Garibaldi over here. I was in California, if anybody recognizes the Garibaldi. And I realized in that moment I was connected. That was a connection to everything. So I received this moment of bliss and complete connection, and feeling like, I am loved. I am accepted by nature. I am accepted by the planet. I'm accepted as a human.
I belong.
Yes, I belong. And I'd had another experience similar to that with years before, but not scuba diving. The scuba was much deeper and kind of struck me on all levels. I was able to float, and yeah, it's very soothing. And so all those things came together. And then I was just like, I don't want it to end, And then I went up, and of course, and then I was like clambering up onto the boat and whack, whack, with a weight belt and dumping that thing, and heavy tank, and it sort of suddenly re-immersed into humanity and all the stuff. And thankfully, that moment has stayed with me because it's helped me to know. And I think we can all hope for that kind of moment. And it doesn't need to be on scuba. It can be sitting under a tree. It can be watching a sunset. But what happens is we must work through our emotions and then allow our perspective to shift. So to get that to happen, we've got to remove fear. And fear is what is gripping so many people right now. Fear of this, right? We hear it all the time. Hell, I don't know how I'm going to deal with this. I don't know how I'm going to blah, blah, blah. This is going on and that's going on. And I might have to this and I might have to that. And it's extreme. I'm not even going to get into the examples, but it's a lot, and it's very intense for many people. But this is the thing about the brain. The brain generates fear to try to keep us safe. It's like one of its sole jobs, I think. And it is like a computer. It is very much like a computer. It does not perceive beyond what it's already been taught. So everything from the past is just like ones and zeros that you put into software. I use a Mac right now, and I have Pages. Pages is never going to learn to edit videos until they put some sort of video editing software in it. It's just not. It,
Right.
I can want it to, I can ask it to, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
And no matter how much I try, right? So it can only do, the brain is like this, it can only do what it has been taught. And what has been taught is keep us safe, keep us safe, keep us safe. Whether it's from ancient times, put your back to a wall so the bear doesn't maul you, or you'll see the tiger coming, or whatever it was. And we had to learn to keep ourselves safe until we didn't have to focus on that. No, we're together in our tribe tonight. We can sit around and we can enjoy the meal. Maybe there's a couple people out there watching out for the tiger, but we can trust them, right? But we've got to teach our brain to slow things down and not be on high alert all the time because it's irrelevant. And it will keep us from connecting to our heart. It will keep us from connecting to our intuition. And it most definitely will keep us from connecting with our soul. So we need to learn how to do that and know when to trust and
Mm-hmm.
build trust. And the person we need to know how to trust the most is us.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, I can trust that I'm safe. I can trust that I will be able to take care of myself. I can trust I will feel something if something's off, or I will know something if it's askew. I will make a different choice. And this is the only way, really, we can come into being sovereign beings. We have to take away the onus of others,
Mm-hmm.
take care of us in all ways, shapes, and forms.
Yes.
Come back here.
Unfortunately, there are people like you, and I also am a transformational coach, and often a client will come who is just kind of like a rock skipping on over the waves, just
Yes.
trying to kind of stay above the waves, but I'm floundering. And there's in the background of many people such dense trauma that
Yes.
they have experienced. And sometimes we get so used to something that we kind of know it's there, but we really don't want to deal with it because it could make it worse. Don't want to be
Yes.
sure. And there are thankfully wonderful resources. I know you have great tools to teach people who just need a little extra, and I as well, which I similarly came upon out of dire need myself, because I was one of the rocks skipping over the waves
Skipping,
and
yes.
not doing very well, and like, help, I'm gonna drown. And help is there in so many forms, so many different ways. And I would like to let whoever might be listening right now know that you have wonderful, I guess I would call them tools, empowering, simple things that can be easily done to assure us of the truth that we are safe. Because as you say, the brain is nonstop running the stories that you've got to be vigilant. You don't have what you need to deal with that. You got to pay the rent, or
Yes.
you got to keep the household calm, or whatever it might be. It's a story. And the truth is that we are whole and complete. It's just a matter of coming to that place where that is realized. Don't you have something called the realized soul? Is that
Yes. Well, that was a brand of mine for many years. I still use that email. Yes,
there
it
you go?
is right.
I know I've seen it.
Realizing soul. It's like remembering the soul, right? Reconnecting with the soul, remembering who we really are.
Yeah.
And this isn't an airy fairy, process. It's based in techniques that ground us, techniques that calm the brain, techniques that help us become present, even when we've been through significant trauma. And
Yes.
I'm not saying I am a trauma expert for every single person in the world, but I have helped many hundreds of people to move past that moment of the trauma activation into something deeper and be able to access neutrality or
Right.
calm. And so while the tools themselves or the processes are not complex, they do require consistency
Mhm.
and time over time. Consistency over time.
We're retraining ourselves,
Yes.
and which can feel in and of itself very good medicine. Oh, wow, I've been suffering this way since I can remember. And now I am doing something that is alleviating that and making space for something so much better in my life. And it's very motivational in and of itself.
Yes, it's a positive motivational aspect. When one commits to that, to the practices of it, then you start to see the results and then they build over time.
Thank you for joining us in this episode, From Survival to Sovereignty, in the series with Tessa Alburn, Coming Home to Soul. Join us in the next and final segment called The Practice of Becoming, where we'll explore soul habits, brain retraining, and inner trust. What were your takeaways from this episode? If you're feeling a nudge to go a little deeper, consider accessing the reflective journaling prompts you can find on the bonus content page at songrise.live. That's SONGRISE.LIVE. Your free e-guide, Out of Your Head into Your Light, awaits you there as well. This is Colleen Akiko, wishing you warm alohas and namaste.